Carl Harrington was once a small-town veterinarian appalled by factory farming's cruelty. To protest, he built a bulky elephant-inspired exosuit, complete with hydraulic trunk, only to discover it amplified his strength to lift 6 tons. He took to city streets, flipping trucks and bench-pressing SUVs, to make a point for veganism. In a world where heroes can level skyscrapers and villains pulverize mountains, his demonstrations quickly became spectacles, not solutions. His biggest moment comes when Adam Eve uses him as a literal workout weight, lifting him overhead and slamming him back down, turning his proud protest into a training sled. Later, Mark Grayson treats him as a sparring partner, slipping around his slow, predictable attacks. Despite noble intentions, the elephant never adapts. He shows up, smashes something, then begs for people to listen. Narratively, he highlights 2 things: scale and sincerity. He reminds us how vast the power gap is. If a Viltrumite punched him, he'd dissolve like tissue paper. Jason Morelli wasn't a supervillain. He was a small-time crook who stumbled into Robot's early prototype cannon. He strapped the device to his arm, donned metal armor, and declared himself Kill Cannon. His first outing against Mark Grayson, brand new to his powers, ends with his blaster sputtering and leaving him flat on his face. His second fight, this time versus Adam Eve with a robot-tuned amplifier, lasts seconds more before overheating again. Kill Cannon's entire identity rests on his weapon. He never trains hand-to-hand, never studies opponents, and has no backup if the cannon falters. He fires once or twice and then panics. His fights are less battles, more circus acts. Flashy entrance, one decent blast, then mechanical failure. Without the cannon, he's a defenseless man in a suit. Even his villainous flair, threatening civilians, issuing grandiose demands, rings hollow when every encounter ends in him scrambling to escape. He exists primarily to establish stakes for the hero's early arcs, but he never grows beyond that role. His confidence outpaces his skill, making him comical rather than menacing. As a character study, he's a textbook example of technology without mastery, a reminder that gear doesn't make the villain. From the slums, Tyrone Iso Patel's clawed his way up using stolen teleportation tech. He can blink from point A to B in a heartbeat, making him a prized ally to crime bosses like Machine Head and Titan. Yet he never steps into true combat. He ferries criminals in and out of trouble, but never lands a knockout punch. When friction erupts, he vanishes rather than confronts. His greatest skill is a pure survival, betraying employers at a moment's notice, slipping through blockades and double-crossing partners. But in direct confrontations, he's useless. His portals are narrow, short-lived, and easy to avoid. Heroes simply sidestep or trap him mid-jump. He never uses teleportation offensively. No ambush, no flanking maneuver, just quick exits. Isotope highlights the gap between potential and performance. He is arguably the most powerful utility power in the series, yet reduces it to an escape valve. His story underscores that talent without creativity or courage is squandered opportunity. Dr. Edgar Smith was a world-renowned seismologist until his radical experiments convinced him humanity was destroying Earth's crust. He weaponized seismic emitters to unleash earthquakes, crack open highways, and topple buildings as environmental warnings. Each tremor showcased his intellect and passion, but also his instability. He triggers quakes in city centers, hurting innocents to save them. Invincible and Adam Eve routinely team up to neutralize him, bracing rifts or using strength to close ruptures. His quakes rattle the environment but fail to topple heroes. A single punch from Invincible can crack his machines, and Eve's telekinesis can seal fissures before they widen. Seismic is a potent example of eco-terror, moral justification undermined by indiscriminate destruction. His power is vast but poorly controlled, turning potential global threat into street-level nuisance. Originally a decorated soldier, Britt's body was encased in a regenerative shell that renders him completely invulnerable. Bullets, fire, explosions, he shrugs them off. Yet he never masters flight, energy projection, or super strength. He simply stands firm in the most dangerous fights, unmoved but unable to shift the tide. He's a living bunker, useful for defense, pointless for offense. Bursting onto the Guardians tryout field in a stiff, bright green lizard suit, Komodo Dragon lived and died by his leap and claw routine. His entire combat style revolved around parkour hops and slashing brass knuckles, all inspired by reptile legends. Yet when he squared off against Invincible's rookie effort, his grand flips and fang-imitating strikes amounted to nothing more than fancy warm-ups. One solid punch sent him sprawling. Without armor, ranged options, or any defensive tech, his suit was little more than cosplay. Komodo Dragon's tenacity and theatrical flair make him memorable, but in a universe of seismic shockwaves and planet-shredding punches, he's the most lizardy punchline imaginable. Furnace rolled onto the scene convinced his DIY flamethrower armor made him a top-tier baddie. In Invincible, he struts into a standoff, hurling searing jets of flame at hapless goons, only to have his suit overheat, jam, and leave him coughing through smoke without a single hit landed. Angstrom Levy's lackeys sweep him aside like a charred garbage can, and he ends up more crispy critter than fearsome firebrand. No backup defenses, no range precision, nothing but a glorified blowtorch strapped to his back. In a universe of energy blasts and titanium bones, Furnace doesn't even singe the perimeter. His story reminds me that flashy power means nothing if you can't sustain it under real pressure. Slaying Mantis showed up with prehensile limbs, compound eye vision, and martial arts moves so quick they blurred. Her insectile prowess looked like a game changer, until Invincible dispatched her in 2 pages. She dodges a punch, counters with 3 venom-tipped strikes, and then a single blow snaps her spine like a twig. Watching her fall is brutal. One moment you admire her agility and unique bio-augmentation. The next, you see the reality that durability matters more than dexterity in a world of planet-shattering powers. Slaying Mantis's arc is a stark reminder. Even extraordinary gifts count for nothing if you lack the raw resilience to survive one solid hit. I always thought her design was cool, but that defeat still stings, because it shows how Invincible strips away every fantasy of small victories in favor of survival of the fittest. Shrinking Ray's beam can shrink tanks to toy size or enlarge pebbles into projectiles, promising battlefield shifting potential. Yet her device sputters after a single shot, with effects that reverse too quickly to exploit. Tiny street cones revert before she can use them as cover, and colossal gravel fragments crumble on impact. Her aim often misfires, and recharging mid-fight leaves her vulnerable. The Shrinking Ray delivers a flash of creativity but fails to deliver real impact, as its short-lived transformations fizz out long before they alter any fight's outcome.